Our nutrients are 2.7 times better than what the grocery store meat is.
And the flavor is very good too.
Yes. I'm not afraid to tell them the good, the bad, and the ugly, because if it's not from a real perspective, then the people just think you're blowing sunshine up their dress, and it's a way of life.
I was a grain farmer in Nebraska and did everything conventionally.
There was so many nitrates in our water from the applied nitrogen that our water wasn't safe for pregnant women and children to drink.
We were doing the complete chemical thing, and we were killing it.
But the guy I dropped off at that Gabe Brown meeting was not the guy I picked back up. And I'm like, who are you? You're excited.
But yeah,
I hadn't seen excitement like that in a long time.
I told her, I said, do you realize there's actually life in the soil? I had no concept. I didn't go to college. I didn't study agriculture. I just graduated from high school and just kept doing things the way I grew up. No offense to my dad. I mean, we made a lot of money.
You don't live in Nebraska anymore.
No, we don't.
We're in Missouri right now.
Bob lived in the same section of ground for 58 years, a mile by a mile by a mile. And we pulled out of there at 5 o'clock in the morning on October 20th, 2014, and we've never looked back.
How are you producing food now, and how does it feel for you guys?
The longer we do this, the better the soil is, the less inputs we have to put into it. I went to Ian Mitchell Ennis. He says, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I am going to tell you what you can do. You can heal the land just with cows and grazing.
It feels right and it feels good.
Feels like, like you're doing the right thing.
To be truthful, you guys, if we'd have stayed in Nebraska, number one, I will guarantee you that we wouldn't have stayed married. We were just in that bad of a situation. And we either would have been divorced or one of us would have been dead. Our move made us better people in a lot of ways. You know, it made us think about what we're doing to the creation that we've been given. But I really think we're where we're supposed to be.
We have had some hypotheses of that, like we're going to see more birds, right? And our early studies in amp grazing versus continuous grazing have shown that.
This place is full of quail. People drive up that driveway like, oh man, you got a lot of quail. Yep. You know.
Yeah, we got them at, I think, every point.
Some high tech
stuff here.
Yep, you bet. Don't be too blown away.
If you decide to do like a little bird thing, bring people here.
This would
You
be
can
the spot.
get 20 species just standing here.
One left.
Yep.
Scissortail flycatcher.
Those tails are incredible.
So good.
To be truthful, that's probably the bird that got me the most excited. I mean, I knew we had a lot of birds, but the last time I looked, we were about 60 miles too far east for that bird.
That bird is a good bird in Kansas. So it's a really good bird here.
Yeah.
It's almost extraliminal. It's like we're right at the edge of the range, right? It's a little peninsula of the range too. So it's like already we're at the tip of the peninsula, right? So that's cool to have that bird. If you can provide suitable habitat for them, if they're showing up and you're on the outer edges of the range, it's highly suggestive that you're managing your land in a way that's good for them, right? The data strongly suggests that we could extrapolate that. You know, we're seeing retention of grassland birds, which are in precipitous decline in North America, more so than any other group of birds. Native prairies, open land that was managed by indigenous folks with fire. You know, there's been so much conversion for development or row crops or let's just say agricultural practices that are not harmonious with nature. So like these practices are just kind of bringing it back, and the birds are, it's like they've been chomping at the bit. You know, they seem to be responding really, really positively.
You know, and the bird thing it's always been a piece of our world anyway since we moved and noticed how many birds there actually are. So it's just really cool to have confirmation that there are enough habitat for the birds to do what the birds need to do. The fact that so many birds are on the decline is just, it's heartbreaking. And if we can help, I mean, this world was designed to work together. And we need to get it working together again on a lot of fronts, but that's a little bit off the beaten path today.
European starlings, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are not my favorite birds.
No. I helped a local farmer get the starlings out of their purple martin nest by way of shotgun.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there.
hitting them as they're trying to come into the nest. After the third one I got, I mean, talk about instant gratification, because the purple martins were completely evicted, right? I think it was the third one. These two purple martins fly right in, start cleaning out a nest, start copulating, singing, awesome. Just right there. Fourth starling comes by, bam, I pop it. They didn't even jump off the house. It's like they knew I was there to protect them. You know, it was so cool. I actually have a video of them like singing. I had to put the gun down and like take a little video of them singing and stuff. I just couldn't believe it. It's a brown-headed cowbird, great crested flycatcher. He's pissed. They're nesting somewhere right here. A nest will disappear in here, right? I mean, I guarantee their nest is somewhere right here, just like this. All these birds have different requirements too, right? The meadowlarks require something slightly different from a grasshopper sparrow, which is slightly different from a dick thistle, right? If the cows were here all the time and it looked like a mowed lawn, there'd be nowhere safe to put a nest. And then if there weren't cows at all, this would be a blackberry patch, right? And you'd only have brown thrashers and blue grosbeaks and a whole different group of birds. You could tell these birds have co-evolved with large grazers. Cows are not mean-spirited. So like you could see a cow grazing and a bird jumps up and they'll be like, okay, and like go this way. That's why haying is really bad, right? Because it's non-selective, right? It's just going to take everything down. Or, you know, machinery is far more dangerous than cattle. The cattle go through, and especially this time of year, May, June, the meadowlarks and grasshopper sparrows and stuff are coming in right behind them and aggressively fighting for that territory. It's like they know that those cattle are off the land now. And it's, you know, this is the prime real estate, because it's going to rest. It's going to be nothing but veg growth and productivity, you know. It's very likely that the diversity of birds that we encountered here this morning is unique, right? And could be found in other areas that are managed similarly.
I'll never forget the first morning we woke up out here in this pasture just east of the house here that's all fenced off. Mm-hmm. Was like one giant spider web. I mean, it was spider web. God, it was gorgeous. You know, and I posted that on social media and everybody was like, ew. I'm like, no.
Right. They're setting up shop because there's a smorgasbord of insects out here.
They're having a good time. Let's just let them do their thing.
And a lot of these birds eat those spiders too, you know, like it's just, man.
The cows are not the climate problem. Really, that's probably one of my biggest things, is that people know that, you know, between the amp grazing and everything else, it's not the cows. If we can support this amount of wildlife, surely the cows are not the problem.
Well, first off, cows, I think now have been demonstrated through peer-reviewed research that if managed in a certain way, not only are not the problem, but are frankly part of the solution. Yep. Right. I mean, we're recognizing measurable benefits in biotic and abiotic elements in the landscape, right? We're seeing ecosystem uplift. We're seeing evidence of potential for restoring grasslands. It's a complex topic, right? Because the grazing practice, it's how you move your cattle. It's very easy for folks to enact certain methods that, you know, it's not that they're wrong, right? It's how things have been done for so long. And now that we have a decent amount of studies in a decent amount of places through globally, right? Different biomes showing that there's certain practices that just hold water in all scenarios. And as Alan Williams has often said in ways better than I could ever, it's the adaptive part that really makes that important. Being able to change the size of your paddocks.
Chaos.
Right, exactly. Chaos. Have good perimeter fences, but then like be ready to be artful with how you move animals within that space. Like it's the tide that rises all ships. And I really think it's like you and John Lyons and, you know, like it's ranchers that are leading by example that are the true case studies to show economic viability, right? Spending less money on inputs. If you're spending $30,000 less on fertilizer and $30,000 less on hay, right? You're building that bank account in the soil, which affects your bank account at JP Morgan or whatever, you know. That's the thing that's going to silence the naysayers, or like take the fringes, right? Because there's nothing wrong with conservation, right? I have a strong conservation ethic. I'm a wildlife biologist, right? Yep. I love that there's huge tracts of fire managed native prairie, but I've also seen with confidence that land can be restored and maintained for healthy grasslands with cows as the primary management tool. It doesn't have to be one or the other. Your land is a primary example. This is a highly functional ecosystem, and it's also a working land, right? This is how you're earning your keep and enjoying the culture of being a farmer. The reduction of the American family farmer over the last 80 years or whatever, it's scary, right? Scary.
On working lands, on farmland, unless someone asks me for advice, I don't give it. It's not mine to give. It's not like anybody prepped me otherwise, but to just have a lot of respect for family farmers. They are applied ecologists, right? They're making decisions on the land all day, every day, and the ones that are getting into amp grazing and these regenerative practices, doesn't matter if they want to boost up their shrink the territories of meadowlarks, or they just want to be able to take the grandkids to the beach for an extra week by having some extra income. Like it's working.
It's their land, they're actively managing it. Who am I to come in and tell them what to do? Or in a situation where there is an opportunity for me to provide some advice, if you had an interest in cleaning up some hedgerows or fence lines, and we're open to some goofy guy from Philly giving some suggestions,
I drive around with you again.
Right on. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Really, we're just out here busting our butt, just trying to do the best we can, trying to do things the right way and respect Mother Nature. And I hope that people realize, with all the studies that we've had done, from the birds to the nutrient density to everything else, that we're not here to hurt anybody. We're here to let these ecosystems work the way they're supposed to, and support humans on top of it all. I mean, you guys had those cheeseburgers last night. They're no joke.
I'm the only one who shamelessly ate 2 of them.
It's not just the cheeseburgers either. I mean, I really wish we had another night to feed y'all steak, because the steaks are to die for.
This has a solution that heals families of humans, families of birds, families of cows, plants.
Deer.
Yeah, that's right. So I would encourage people to just have an open mind. If you already have a predetermined notion about how to move cows or not move cows, or how to look at birds or not look at birds, or how to manage habitat for a particular species, like, check it all at the door and take an open-minded approach to what's going on.
You start out just trying to improve the soil and make better grass for the cattle, and you don't realize the domino effect of everything.
I didn't really think about, I mean, you know it, but you don't really think about it, how the birds and the bugs indicate that things are doing right. But the Roots So Deep film really brought that to light. You got Jonathan out there sweeping for bugs, and you got Mike out there hunting for birds, and it's pretty cool. I mean, the ranches that they went on they've been doing this a lot longer than we have, so it's nice to know that we're on the right path. It's doing something right for the world. Yay!